A very good morning, everyone. It's George Bayruthi from FS Securities giving you the market report for Friday morning, the 8th of April 2022. We start with the daily offshore updates to see what happened overnight. And we see that the Dow was up 0.3%, the S&P 500 was up 0.4%, and the Nasdaq was up 0.1%. As a matter of interest, the market was actually very volatile. It started lower, much lower, recovered on the high side, and then eventually finished very modestly, slightly up. In New York, BHP was steady, just less than 0.1%, and RIA was up 0.4%. In Europe, the StoXX 50 index, which comprises most major European markets, was down 0.6%. As you can see here, London, Paris and Frankfurt all down slightly. The ASX futures indicating that the market most likely will open 38 points higher, or actually that's 0.5%. Let me show you what happened this morning when the market opened a few seconds ago. You can see here the market, the XJO, opened 11 points or 0.3%, actually shot up a bit more, 22 points up. We'll come back to that in a minute. Gold, 1933 US per ounce, up 0.4%. Brent crude oil, $100. It hasn't seen that mark for a long time. $100 US per barrel, that's the Brent crude oil. And West Texas crude oil had volatility around above and below the 100 US per barrel several times, and at the moment is sitting at 96 US per barrel, down below the 100 again. Iron ore price down 3.2% from $160 US per ton to 155 US per ton. The Australian dollar a bit weaker this morning, nearly 1 cent, from 75.8 to 74.8. And the 10-year yield, which affects home buyers, 2.7%, nearly 1% higher than it used to be several months ago. And the yield, we've seen at one stage recently that the 2-year yield was higher than the 10-year yield. That's gone back to what it's supposed to be. The 10-year yield has always got to be higher than the 2-year yield. When the 2-year yield is above the 10-year yield, people say that recession is imminent. Well, let's hope the recession is not there and won't happen for a while. Bitcoin, 43,600, well below what it used to be at 45,900 a few days ago. And that converts to approximately 58,300 Australian dollars. Now I'm going to show you what happened over 3 days to have a good understanding of the perspective of the market. You can see the Dow over 4 days is down 234 points or 0.7%. The S&P 500 is down 1%. So when we can see 1 day movement, that's not really as effective as we see 4 days together. The Nasdaq 2.6% down. So the technology index is actually being battered all around the world, including Australia. The StoXX 50 index, which comprises most major European markets, down 3%. And the FTSE is the only one slightly above in the positive side. The German, which is actually the biggest contributor to the StoXX 50, being the biggest market in Europe, is down 2.6%. On our market, over the last 4 days, we are down 0.7%. Depends what happens today, but you can see 3 days in a row, all negatives. All right, gold 30 cents higher, or let's say it's average, not moving, steady over 4 days. And silver 13 cents up or 0.5%. All right, we move on to the next section. We're going to show you what stocks had extreme volatility, extreme volume. What we do here, we look at the 50-day moving average for the volume, look at the volume every day for 50 days, and we work out the moving average, and we compare the last volume in relation to the volume, the average volume. As you can see here, the average volume is almost the same as the volume yesterday, just 1.1 times. And the price of Telstra was up 0.76%, $3.96. Endeavour has actually been showing up several times. The price was up 1% and the volume is almost the same as average. And looking here at, let's close this, the fair value, both of these stocks don't really show a lot of attractiveness in the price against fair value. On the mid cap, GDI Property, 1.4% the price rise, and the volume is 1.2 times the moving average. Again, the fair value is almost the same as the price, so nothing very exciting here. Last but not least, we show you the most active stocks. And here Magellan was 11.4% yesterday up, and the fair value is $31.30. We are actually trading Magellan, which by the way offering very nice dividends. AGL 2.4% up, and the fair value is well above the price, 51% higher. Alright, all of these are negative with the exception of Horizon, 1.6% up, $3.75, and the fair value is for $4.20. Now, we have a lot of information in this report, and of course I'm going very quickly through it. If you want the full report, all you have to do is write to us and we'll send you the full report. Okay, that's all from us here at FS Securities. Trade safely and wisely and have a fantastic day and trade safely.